Should I buy or should I rent? Oh, hi friends. Alex Kais here, and this is a home in Seattle. No, I don't have doors on my cabinets, and yes, it does drive Kindle crazy, but I don't have time to figure it out right now. I'm gonna say it and probably spoil the entire video, but renting is upfront much cheaper than buying a house. I'm a realtor in Seattle, and I only make a living when I help people buy or sell a house. But if you're looking for a cheap place to land in a new city, or you're living a more transient lifestyle where you're only gonna stay in one place for a year or two, then you should definitely be renting. But thinking about it from a more long-term perspective, I think that owning a home is the greatest way to build wealth in America today. So in the spirit of conserving time, let's multitask and talk about the benefits of renting versus buying while we make some breakfast. We're going to talk about the monthly price differences using the cost of housing in Seattle as an example. So to do that, let's start by turning to Zillow. Okay, I'm going to look at Capitol Hill because it seems like that is the place where most people land in the city. And you can see here, we're looking at rentals, 2 bedrooms, all of that in Capitol Hill, and there's a big variety here. We have a 3,200, 2,800. I would probably average this out if you're looking for a 2 bedroom in Capitol Hill at about $2,800 a month for a rental. Now there's probably 1,000 different purchase options when comparing those rental numbers. You could buy a condo, you could buy a townhouse, a single family house, you could put 3% down, 20% down, you could buy with roommates in mind or find a place all by yourself. But I help a lot of first-time home buyers who are mostly interested in kind of the typical 3-bed, 2-bath house. So let's use that as an example, thinking with 20% down in mind. Right now, that's gonna run you about $1 million in the Seattle area or $4,100 a month. Some of that mortgage payment does go back in your pocket towards the principal, but really in the first 10 years, the majority of that is going towards interest and property taxes and home insurance. So 2 examples, about $2,800 to rent and $4,100 to buy. It does seem like there's a pretty clear-cut winner there, doesn't it? I am, of course, biased. I'm self-employed and I only make a living when one of my clients buys or sells a house. But I'm just gonna use my home ownership journey as an example here and say that buying is the clear-cut winner in my opinion, despite the monthly difference. Okay, just a quick interlude. If you saw my first video of 2021, you might remember that Kendall and I are on the hunt for a possible Airbnb beach house purchase. And we found a really cool one on Whidbey Island. Just thought I'd show you around because it's super stylish and I don't know if it's the one for us, but it is providing good inspiration. We're
here in the Lagoon Point community today, and this is a community that Alex and I have had our eye on because of the lagoon. And this particular house, we could just walk across the street and put our kayaks into the lagoon, which leads out to the Puget Sound. But they have clearly flipped this, and it is Pinterest fabulous. Little dining and sitting area with a wood-burning stove behind you, it looks like. Or is that just for looks? Is that real? Oh, we're here with, Sister Sydney, cousin Zach, and Celie is having a hard time, but we had to show you this house before we leave because it's just adorable. Straight out of like an anthropology showroom, I think. The millennials would eat this up on Airbnb. I, however, am on the upper end of millennial, and these stairs terrify me.
Okay, the third floor is very cool. Have a look at this.
Oh, hey, did everybody else?
How adorable! And look at the view.
Did you see the balcony out here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a view from there.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, just wanted to show you that really quick. Let's jump back into the rest of the video. Kendall and I bought a house in our late 20s when she was working at a nonprofit admin job and I was teaching at a community college. It's my way of saying that we weren't making very much money. We put 3% down on a house in Linwood, which was a little bit further from the city than we wanted to, but really it was all that we could afford at the time. We ended up adding a second unit in the basement and rented out to friends. It helped pay our mortgage and ended up being a really good situation. And then in 3 years, we sold the house, making about a $200,000 profit. Not a bad investment. I made a video diving into more of the details of these numbers. You can check it out here if you're interested in that. That allowed us to put 20% down on our next house. We recently bought it, and in the last 6 months, it's probably appreciated about $100,000 just because the real estate market has been so hot recently. Now, it's a little complicated to actually be able to use that money, but appreciation is the reason that I think buying a house is the better bet. It won't work out so well in every market out there, but in the Puget Sound region, we're seeing the cost of housing go up or appreciate about 10% every year. Now, side note, which is related to the story, when you start to understand the power of real estate, you begin to understand why the wealth gap in America exists today. It's really in large part because of the redlining and racism that was happening in the 20th century. If you were able to buy a house 40 years ago, you're now a millionaire, just in the value of your house alone. But people of color were barred from being able to participate in this because banks wouldn't loan on these black neighborhoods, and people were just forced to keep renting. In 4 years, we've made probably about $300,000 just from owning a home. We didn't even mean to do it. We just wanted to buy a house because we wanted the freedom that affords you, but it's been a nice byproduct. So if you're thinking about making a home in Seattle, send me a message and we'll chat more about it. Bye.